How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my highest ELO push of the season so far, and unfortunately it is going to be in the Little Cup, but at the very least the Little Cup is going to be ending here in the next 24 hours, which I am very happy with. Initially I had pretty high hopes for it, and to be fair, I did climb quite a bit, but I did not hit Legend. I was really hoping to, but I just found it to be a lot more RPS than normal with the amount of bronzers that are out there. Now, I know there are some Little Cup teams that certain content creators have used that have gotten them pretty far. Like, if you guys have seen Calamonto's latest video, where he climbed like over 600 ELO with his team, there are some teams running around there that are really good at core breaking the current meta. But in my case, I don't have a lot of those core breakers. I don't have a Volibee under 500 CP. I don't have a Drifloon, and I don't have an Igglybuff, so I have them, I just haven't powered them up. So this team here, kind of similar to my last team, is like the poor man's Little Cup team. Pretty accessible, nothing too really crazy, unique, or spicy. But yeah, this team is pretty solid. I started using it in place of the last team that I made a video about, just because literally right after making the video, I started getting hard countered like every battle. So I did switch it up. And what you guys are going to see in today's video, since it is the last day of Little Cup, I'm not going to show you guys a full team breakdown like I did in the last one. We're going to just take a look at one set of battles, unedited, other than just some slight editing between the battles, so you guys don't have to wait for like a 5-minute queue time, but just a full 4-1 set. And this is going to be the set that took me to 2955 there, if you look at my ELO underneath my face, which is my highest season so far, my highest ELO, excuse me, so far this season. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to do some more detailed gameplay breakdown. So if you're not into the Little Cup, you may still get some use out of this video, just because I am, like I said, going to be going into some detail, pausing it if I need to, and we're going to talk about some plays, good things and bad things that I do. So we're going to be getting right into it, and before we do so, in the last video I did that had gameplay breakdown, a few people said that they would really appreciate some talk about move counts. I didn't have time really to put together a graphic, but I did want to show you guys, for at least this video, a really useful website that you can go to if you are wanting to get better at counting moves, and I'm going to go to it now here. Let's see if I can get it to show up. And yeah, here we go. So this is Pokemoves.com, free website that you can go to, and it has like a pretty much all-inclusive list of all the Pokemon. I just had it on Bronzor there just because it's super common. Let's just, for fun, let's just type in Seal. As you can see, it has all of Seal's potential charge moves and fast moves. It tells you the common fast moves there and how much energy it's going to take you to get to a charge move. So 12 turns, and then 11 for Aqua Tail. Icy Winds are just going to be 15 across the board. If we go back to the Bronzor here, you can see Payback's going to be what they're going to be throwing. And when they're running Tackle, it's going to be 20 turns across the board. If they're running Confusion, it's just 5 Confusions. But this can be really useful if you're wondering about moves. And what I typically do is, if I'm not sure of a move, I will just basically look it up after I face the Mon that I don't know the move count on. I'll just look it up next battle. So pretty useful resource if you guys are wanting to start counting moves. And if you're not, then just totally ignore this section of the video. And that being said, I will put that link in the description as well. So Pokemoves.com. And before this intro gets any longer, let's get into the battles here. And by the way, these are going to be a little bit slower as well, just since we're going to be doing some move breakdown. So first battle of the set here. This opponent, I'm not sure if they had the frozen screen glitch or not, but as you see, they're frozen for the first 3 quick moves. So I get 3 full quick attacks in right away, which is amazing for me. And to be honest, I do kind of feel bad sometimes taking advantage of lag, but the thing is, I've been experiencing so much lag, and that stupid invisible Mon glitch that has cost me so many different losses, and in some cases I probably wasn't going to win anyway, but there's been a few losses I've had where I for sure was going to win, and the glitch caused me to lose. So there, I didn't feel too bad about taking advantage of it, because as you see there, unfortunately for the opponent, they are running Ember as well, so we actually get both of their shields on the lead there in the Vulpix mirror. And then since I have 2 pretty good answers to it, I do want to switch out because the opponent stayed in a neutral matchup which tells me if they're staying in, they probably were weak in the back to the Vulpix, so I did want to preserve it. And as you see, they have an Alolan Sandslash in the back, so I do switch out. I preserve the Vulpix, and they're probably going to just about take me out with the Night Slash here. Unfortunately, they don't, and they boost, and they get 2 more Powder Snow. So here, this is going to be the first of the pauses. So typically when you're switching in a Mon in a situation where you have just fainted, and you're going to be selecting which Mon to bring back in, that action should take 0 turns. Now, if you're in mid-fight and you try to switch in a Mon, it should take 1 turn to switch in. But what this game does sometimes that can be super annoying is it gives you a 1-turn lag when you're bringing in a fresh Mon. But as you see, when I bring in my Wooper here, you're going to see that when he throws his Night Slash here, a Mud Shot does not go through on my end. So I got the 1-turn bring in there, which doesn't really matter too much in this situation, but all it does in this situation is just allows the opponent to get an extra boosted Powder Snow off on me. But sometimes, guys, that can be the difference. That 1-turn lag when you bring in a Mon can be the difference between your opponent reaching like a second charge move or not. So at this point, unfortunately for the opponent, our Wooper just core breaks their entire team. They are triple weak to it, so I just throw the Mud Bomb there to be safe, realizing that a potential lose con would be to like have them catch a Body Slam. So I just double Mud Bomb. We take out the Vulpix, and we take out the Stunky with the Mud Bomb, and that's a GG. So there, I think even if the opponent doesn't lag at the beginning, I still win that game just because Quick Attack Vulpix outpaces the Ember Vulpix. But either way, into the next battle here, really nice lead for us, a Shelmet. And the opponent, I believe, he plays very well in this game. So they switch in a Riolu. And here, this is a very, very scary Mon to see if you don't have an answer for it, because the counter cross-chop combo is just so powerful here. So what I recognize is that the opponent is 1 off of another move here. So I have to throw my Body Slam right away. I can't overfarm, because if I overfarm, he will get to the move, and he will win CMP. So that's why I bring in the Wooper right away, recognizing that it only takes Wooper 4 turns to get to a move, and it takes Riolu 5. So by throwing my Weather Ball right away on the Vulpix, and then bringing in my Wooper, I knew that I was going to outpace by 1 turn. Unfortunately, as you see, the Body Slam just barely doesn't KO, and he is able to cross-chop me, which is quite unfortunate. And now what this does is it sets up the opponent for a very nice farm down with their Shelmet. And this Shelmet's going to come out of here with a lot of energy, unfortunately. As you see, non-stab Body Slams just do not do very much on Shelmet. Also, what you're noticing, I'm going to rewind this super briefly again, because I want to show you guys the proper move timing that I'm throwing on here. Because the opponent is on a 3-turn fast move, which is Infestation, and I am on a 2-turn move, which is going to be Mud Shot. So what you don't want to do is throw and allow the opponent to get through an entire free move. So what I do is, you'll notice I throw 4 Mud Shots here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 turns compared to the opponent's 3 Infestations, which is 9 turns. So effectively, I'm only allowing 1 free turn of energy on the opponent. And again, I could have thrown right there, but I throw 4 again, wanting to make sure that he doesn't get a full free move in. And this is going to allow me to maximize my energy. And because of that very nice overfarm there, I'm actually able to get to a 3rd Body Slam just before I go down. Whereas if I throw on bad timing, he gets a free fast move through, and I probably don't get to that 3rd Body Slam. So I do get this thing very low, but my Quick Attack here is not going to apply that much pressure, and the opponent is at back-to-back Body Slams, actually nearly at 3. So here I expected him to throw right away, knowing I was getting close to my move, but unfortunately, he very wisely does not throw it, and now we're in a tough situation because I'm forced to shield the Bug Buzz, and he has a Bronzer in the back, and he has a shield, and if you notice, he also got that debuff on my Seal. So pretty much at this point, despite winning the lead, this Bronzer with a shield is just basically going to win this game. There's not really much I can do. Even if I actually don't get debuffed there from that Bug Buzz, I actually still may be able to make this close down a shield, because once you throw a couple Icy Wind debuffs on the Bronzer, their moves really just don't do a lot to the very bulky Seal. And we probably could actually get them extremely low with the Licks, but as you're going to see, we're now basically in another payback range. So I actually try to catch it here, and I think the opponent just overfarmed there really nicely. They do let me get to another Weather Ball, but this is just not going to be enough, because what they can do here is probably just overfarm massively, take me out, and actually they don't commit to the farm down, which is really nice, but still, Seal's charge moves just really don't do a lot against Bronzer. What makes Seal deadly against Bronzer is that damage from the licks over time. I threw on CMP here, but unfortunately, Aqua Tail not going to be enough, and they are going to take me out with another move, and that's going to be a GG. So I did show you guys a loss. Again, this is just the set, just a full set, not handpicking the battles, but we take the loss. Really, I think they just had our team comp kind of beat despite us winning the lead, but either way, that's how the Little Cup goes. So third battle here, we have a Bronzer lead, which is a little interesting because when you're not running the Ember Vulpix, this is actually a losing matchup for the Vulpix and the One Shield, which is just completely ridiculous, guys. Bronzer is just so broken. But as you're going to see, super effective Weather Ball just tickles the Bronzer. And what I know, again, if you remember from the Pokemoves.com, it's going to take them 20 turns to get to a payback with Tackle, which effectively is going to be basically me getting to doing 10 quick attacks. So I knew that they weren't going to throw right away, so I was going to over farm and then try to catch, but they actually do end up almost throwing right away, and they do bait me, which is a little unfortunate. So what I'm going to try to do now, get off another move here. Again, 3 Weather Balls is not even enough to KO a Bronzer. It takes 4, and then I just bring in the Seal, because Seal just tanks energy a lot better than pretty much anything else on the team. They bring in a Iggly buff here to my Seal, which is really, really bad. Iggly buff just has a great Seal matchup, but the nice thing is they did over farm a little bit before switching out, so with a slight energy lead, I should actually be able to get to a second move here. Looks like they're not running Wild Charge, which is really fortunate. If they would have just Wild Charged me there, I probably just would have lost the game. And there, I recognized that they were actually going to outpace me to another move, so I just go for the Aqua Tail here and just basically force them either to shield or get themselves low. And now I'm totally fine with letting this go. So if I went for the Icy Wind there, I would have definitely gotten outpaced to the Body Slam, because it does, again, you can look this up on Pokemoves, it takes them 6 feint attacks to get to each Body Slam on the Iggly buff, or whatever it's called. Iggly, is it Iggly buff? Tough? I don't even know what the frick it is, but Iggly something or else. But anyway, we farm down with a Wooper, they come in with a Bronzer, they throw the payback, and they have a Riolu in back, and this is just looking pretty rough here. We'll have to see. We do throw the Body Slam, but the opponent probably is going to outpace us. They do. And my only chance to win this game, a Body Slam does not KO here. My only chance to win this game is for the opponent to respect this Body Slam, and then me get to the move on my Vulpix. And the opponent actually shields that. And since they shield that, we can bring in the Vulpix, outpace them to a Weather Ball, and we're going to take out this Riolu. And I think we actually might just barely outpace this Bronzer as well, since they just threw the payback and they realized that we were going to, and they surrendered. So that game, if the opponent had been counting, they would have known it was just a Body Slam and they could live it. And then they should have probably let that go and then saved their shield for the Weather Ball from the Vulpix. But either way, really close game. GG's. And we've got 2 more left, guys. So another Bronzer. In the last one, you saw me over farm and try to catch, but I was unsuccessful. So this time, I'm going to over farm slightly less. So they're going to be getting to their move right now, and I'm going to throw it, and I'm expecting them to probably wait for me to do like 1 or 2 more quick attacks and then try to catch, and then try to throw their move. So I throw 1, and then I catch on the Seal. And even if this is a payback, I am more than happy to let this go. And they baited with a Heavy Slam. We tanked that, and we are now in a very dominant position. And they actually stay in here, and I'm not going to throw any energy here, because I recognize if I throw the Icy Wind on them, they're just going to switch out. So I just shield the payback, recognizing they probably weren't going to bait. And they actually bring in an Alolan Vulpix. And guys, in like, I don't know how many battles I played in the Little Cup, probably close to 150. I have not seen a single Alolan Vulpix, which is crazy. And I believe that this thing is on like Powder Snow, Dark Pulse, and Weather Ball. So I am not going to be threatened by a Dark Pulse, especially since it's not a Shadow. Seal is just super, super bulky. So I get a shield, I do some damage, and I am more than happy to let this go. And as you're going to see, Dark Pulse doesn't even KO the Seal. And I overfarm slightly, and now I'm just going to get rid of this thing. I know they have a low Bronzer in the back with a little bit of energy, and we'll have to see what their final mon is. But I'm feeling pretty good about this game so far. especially since they brought another ice type into our Seal, so they probably don't have a great answer to our Wooper in the back, but they actually have a Why Not in the back. So I stay in there, just recognizing that the lick damage was going to be really valuable to get some chip onto this Why Not, and I actually make it to an Aqua Tail again. So Why Not, not as common as it used to be, because Bronzer with Tackle just destroys it, but it is just super, super good in neutral situations. It's just so thick. What you're going to see is these moves just do absolutely nothing. And the next tip is going to be, when you know that the opponent's switch clock is up and you're worried about a catch, the safer play oftentimes is just to throw the move that is safer to be caught. So I threw the Mud Bombs there, just in case the opponent tried to catch a potential body slam onto their Bronzer. That could have been really devastating for me, which is why I threw the Mud Bomb on the Why Not. It's only one Mud Shot more expensive, and it does actually do slightly more damage than the Body Slam. Even though Body Slam is slightly more efficient, it was just safer for me to go for the Mud Bombs there. And again, what you're going to see is I'm going to make a similar play in the end game here. We do actually switch in and catch that Mirror Coat. I don't know if you guys saw that on the Vulpix. And now, as long as we can get this thing into Mud Bomb range, we should be good. Again, I think this is Body Slam range. Body Slam does just a little bit less than Mud Bomb, but I'm not going to take a chance at him potentially living a Body Slam and getting to another move. And I knew where his counts were, so I knew I could make it to 2 Mud Bombs before he made it to a Mirror Coat. Because I was counting again, it takes 8 counters to get to a Mirror Coat. So rather than just risking the Body Slam not KOing, I just send the Mud Bomb. I go double Mud Bomb there, and that's just going to secure the win for me. And that's going to be another GG. So yeah, as you guys are seeing, a little bit more chill video. I did pause on that pose just for a second. Some of you guys may have noticed that I'm just running the default pose. And the reason for that is I did get a comment from somebody, a few people actually on Facebook, saying that if you switch your pose back to default, it actually can help with that invisible Pokemon glitch. Now, it didn't actually help make the Pokemon not invisible, but that was really never the problem. The main issue was that when the Pokemon went invisible, at least for me and a lot of other people, the game would freeze as well, and you couldn't switch out and you couldn't throw a charge move. So since switching to the default pose, I actually haven't had any freezing or any inability to switch out. The mons have still been invisible occasionally, but hasn't been as bad. So something to try maybe, but we're going into a Wooper lead here, and Wooper is pretty difficult for the team. Our best answer is going to be Seal, but Wooper is just so spammy. We definitely don't want to bring in Seal right away, because it is our harder answer to this Wooper than our own Wooper. Whereas if you bring in your Wooper behind on energy to the mirror, there's just really going to be no way to flip switch. So what I'm actually going to do is try to make a catch. The opponent is going to be desperate to get off this Mud Bomb before I potentially switch out. So I am expecting him to want to throw right away. So I actually throw just as he gets to the Mud Bomb. And there was a little bit of lag in the game for some reason, but we actually do end up catching on our Seal, and they were actually baiting. So I'm keeping track of the opponent's energy here. He throws his second Body Slam right away. It is 4 Mud Shots to a Body Slam. And now what I'm going to try to do is get my Aqua Tail off just as he's getting to the next one to potentially force his shield. So he has just gotten the energy for his next Body Slam. I throw my Aqua Tail on very nice timing, and now this Wooper is switching out and banking a full Body Slam. So I will remember that. And I'm also counting the Ducklets move. So we get our Icy Wind off just as they're at 7, which is enough for a Brave Bird. And what I'm realizing here is that the opponent is probably going to commit to a full farm down. So I counted the moves there. They are at 12. So they do have enough for a Brave Bird and a Bubble Beam. And I'm recognizing here, I'm actually going to bring back in my Vulpix because I have the move loaded and Vulpix wins CMP. And I'm also recognizing that the opponent is probably not going to want a Brave Bird first, because if he Brave Birds and I shield, then I can probably just farm down. So he throws one more. He's now at 13, which is 100 energy. And I'm fully expecting him to just go Bubble Beam here. So he actually over farms past 100 energy by 1 turn, or by 1 move, which is really nice for me. And I'm going to call the Bubble Beam. He still has enough for a Brave Bird, but again, I'm going to just call the Bubble Beam here, knowing I can live it. And now I believe he's going to be a couple away from another Bubble Beam. I'm expecting him to want to try to reach that Brave Bird, and he could have Bubble Beam there, but Wooper is just so spammy. That's why I aggressively bring it in, and the opponent was already down a shield. They do not want to go down another shield, and now the opponent has a Vullaby in the back, which is not great. So what you're going to see me do here is maximize my energy. It is 8 feint attacks to the first foul play and 7 to the second. So I throw my first body slam on CMP, and we do dramatically outpace them, despite this not being a great matchup. So my plan here is going to be, I'm going to farm up a little bit more. I'm going to throw another body slam, and they're now, I believe, 3 away from their next foul play. And if I can get them into a CMP tie here and get their last shield, I can just let my Wooper go down and save the shield for the Vulpix, and that is exactly what happens. They fall into the CMP tie. They are now not able to overfarm, and they actually just let that go. And again, I've been keeping track of my opponent's energy. He came in and he did 1 fast move there, and now he's throwing a body slam. So he's at 5. After he throws this body slam, he's going to have 1 extra energy. And as he throws, I get my mud shot through, so I'm now at my body slam. So I'm going to throw my body slam here. He gets another mud shot through, as he should, and now he's going to be 2 away. And I know that I'm only 1 away from a move on my Vulpix, so I bring it in. I outpace him by 1 fast move, and I'm going to take him out. So despite this being very, very difficult lead, pretty difficult endgame as well, they pretty much had our team nearly hard countered. We still managed to get the win, and that is going to be the win that takes me to 29.55, as you guys are going to see. So, GG's to the opponent there. We just managed our energy about perfectly. We kept track of all the fast moves, which is really difficult to do, guys. It is not an easy thing to sit there and count fast moves. It's not fun. Honestly, I'm really just hoping I can hit Legend pretty quick in the Sunshine Cup so I can just have some fun and run Spice. But if you really want to get to the top, you need to learn how to count, unfortunately. As Jamie Finn would say, stay in school, kids, and learn to count. So that is the end of the video. We hit the 29.55. We're showing off our Libres, and yeah, hopefully you guys did learn something in this video. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Definitely check out Pokemoves.com or Pokemoves.com. Really, really useful resource. And that being said, guys, we're going to be running the Sunshine Cup here starting tomorrow night. I do work 3 nights in a row, so hopefully I will have some time to battle and get you guys a Legend push video here very soon. But yeah, one more thing, by the way. In a couple videos ago, I mentioned that I was going to start taking submissions for best battles of the month, and I still would really like to do that. There is going to be a submission form in the description to this video, and all future videos as well. And there will also just be a regular battle form submission form if you want to just submit me regular sets of battles as well. But a couple people submitted battles to the battle of the month and didn't actually put the link to the battle in there. So make sure you put the link to the battle in the forum so I can actually view the videos. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry this was a little bit long intro and outro, but yeah, if you're not subscribed, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.